Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here. I grew up in a village, Stanovsk. I'm the youngest of 9 children. Growing up in Kosovo in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't always easy, but we had a lovely family. Since I was the youngest, I always felt very loved and well treated by everybody. I was an outgoing child. I never met a stranger. I was always very friendly, and yeah, those are the things. I do have very fond memories of my childhood, very fond memories. After justice failed me, going through the trials in 2013, I came to the point where I felt like I wasn't going to lose anything by speaking up and telling the world what we went through. At that time, I was not involved that much with Kosovo and with activists or anything like that. So when I decided to speak up, and when I talked to Dr. Frida Rashidi from KRCT, and I remember she was like, "Are you sure you want to speak up? This is a big deal to speak up in Kosovo." And I said, "Of course. I have my daughter's support, my siblings, my husband, and nothing will stop me." And it's been, what, 7 years now, about to be 8. I am very glad I took the step so the world knows that Serbian criminals, what they did to women, men, and children in Kosovo, and it was not our fault. It's nothing to be ashamed of what has happened. We need to speak. Everybody needs to speak about rapes and conflicts. I do remember it had this impact that I could have never imagined, the impact that it did have. I figured when I came forward with my story, it would help survivors. I know that society will take it such a close to heart, and the support I got from everybody, including from the farmers in villages all the way to the president, everybody was on my side. Everybody supported me. My life has changed a lot. I do miss my life before 2018. I miss the privacy that I had, living in the United States and taking care of my daughters and with the family. But now I'm very involved with human rights in Kosovo. I meet the survivors of different conflicts throughout the world all the time, and hearing their stories and sharing mine and supporting women to come forward. For me, it's a great honor, and it's something that it gives me strength and power to wake up every single day and look forward to what I have coming up next. I think all three go hand in hand. Fighting for justice is something that every survivor deserves, to get justice. That's when I get very emotional when I talk about justice, because I've been fighting for that since I was 17. And to this day, something that I'll never be at peace with myself for what has happened to me until justice is served. In our society, I think Kosovo is going on the right path. It has changed. People are willing to listen. They're willing to talk about it more and open. Before 2018, you heard some stories, but nobody really knew anybody, or they probably knew it, but they didn't talk about who their family members were, that they were raped. So I think Kosovo, yeah, it's in the right path. And now, to support the survivors, I think it all starts with a family. Family is what gives you the courage to speak up. Family is what gives you the strength to move forward. When you have the support and the freedom to talk openly about rape with your family, nothing can stop you. So I hope that the more survivors in Kosovo will have that support from friends, family, and society. But I think you can see the difference from 2018 to now, that people do support us. Kosovo does support us. They recognize us as the victims, first of all. It took a lot of lobbying from organizations and from social society to make change. But yes, we are recognized as the victims. We do have reparations from Kosovo, which in one aspect, Serbia is the one that should pay the reparations, not Kosovo. Because Kosovo as a country didn't do the damage, so didn't commit that crime. But what it has to change is justice system. It's 27 years after the war, and to have only 2 perpetrators behind the bars is unforgivable for our society, for our institutions. They need to work more on justice. I'm going to speak for Kosovo and for my case because that's what I've been dealing with since the war ended. They didn't take serious any rape crimes. They didn't take them seriously. I remember when I had to report my case in 2010. It was a Swedish police officer working here for ELEX, and he basically told me what has happened to you is not a big deal. If he was to say that in Sweden, in his own country, that would be unacceptable. But when they came to Kosovo, I think most of them were here for a paycheck, not to serve justice. I think there is quite a bit of criminals living in Kosovo now too, to this day. That for me, thankfully, I don't see my perpetrators, the one that they raped me, because it will be very, very hard not to seek revenge. But at a young age, I always wanted justice and not revenge. But for like Bosnia and being neighbors and seeing them, the government has to work on that to make sure that those criminals are not there. They're not into politics, they're not into social society, but they need to be behind the bars. And I hope that Serbia as a country will turn those criminals over to Bosnia and Kosovo to be prosecuted. I feel very sorry for each person going through a war, let alone rape. It's one of the crimes that it destroys yourself for the rest of your life. I wish them strength to fight, seek justice, but most importantly, is documentation. Keep document, especially at this age where it's easier to keep documents than when the Kosovo war in '99. But to fight for justice and to always speak up, never to hide behind that, what has happened to them. I don't at the moment. I would like to visit Ukraine and meet with survivors. I am in contact with few survivors, but not an organization. That's something I would like to do in the near future. Hopefully this year go to Ukraine and visit survivors. I think that Kosovo and Ukraine can work together, the NGOs or even the government, to come together and have the good lessons from Kosovo, take them to Ukraine and work on that for reparations, justice, and just to speak up. Because in Kosovo now we do have other survivors that they're taking my path to speak up and not hide. They deny this crime because it's not something that anybody can be proud of what they do to civilians, to men, women, and children. They can deny it all they want. We all know that rape happens in every conflict. It has happened for centuries. But Serbia and Russia and all the other perpetrators, they need to come forward and apologize to all the survivors for what they have done. Because it doesn't only destroy an individual, it destroys your family, your community, and your country. Because yes, rape is a crime that will stay with you forever. In Kosovo we have a lot of, there was over 13,000 that they were killed. And we talk about them freely, we remember them. But when it comes to rape, everybody just keeps quiet. Because we don't want to admit that it has happened. Serbia doesn't want to admit that it has happened either. And I'm against that. And I'll do everything I can in my power to tell the world that Serbian, yes, they're rapists, they're criminals, and they need to be behind the bars. My message is for everybody, just put your daughter in our place, or your mom, or your wife, because it could happen to anybody. It's very hard to live with that, and it was not our fault. They need to, not just to hear us talk, but they really need to listen and pay attention to those crimes. Because in Kosovo, as far as I know, the youngest one was only 7-year-old when she was raped by Serbian forces. And I mean, that's inhumane for somebody to do that. And then for people, especially friends and family, to turn around and blame it on us or not recognize us, it's pretty much they're being on the Serbian side. They're siding with the criminal. And that's not something that anybody should do, let alone Albanians, because we know what Serbians have been doing to us for centuries.